If I had to describe type 1 diabetes in a few words, they would have to be lonely, unpredictable, exhausting, and terrifying. But also resiliency, education, health, and community. Hi all, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Alexa, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about type 1 diabetes. And as you may have guessed, I personally have type 1 diabetes. I wanted to do a cozy sit-down video talking to you guys about the highs and lows of having type 1. And yes, if you get that joke, the pun is intended. If not, I will explain in a little bit. But I wanted to talk about it to bring awareness, since it really is an invisible illness. And unless you have it or have somebody close to you that has it, you can never really fully understand what it's like living with it. I have noticed that as of lately with TikTok and Instagram and social media that, there is a lot of awareness coming in, and it makes me so happy because I was diagnosed when I was 10, and growing up with it, a lot of people didn't really understand it or try to understand it, and sometimes the questions were just so inconsiderate and not thought out, and was never on purpose. It was because nobody knew about it. I'm not going to talk to you about what type 1 diabetes is or what happens in the body or anything like that. I'm going to talk about my personal experience with the words that I used to describe it at the beginning of this video. I will have links down below for videos explaining what type 1 diabetes is, and a few different topics about it if you're interested. And please always ask me any questions. I know I just said people have asked questions that are inconsiderate, but honestly I would rather you ask the question even if you think it could be inconsiderate and get the right answer than just assume an answer that's not correct, if that makes sense. And I promise I will not be judging any questions that you guys put, and I will answer them all to the best of my ability from my experience and the knowledge that I have regarding type 1 diabetes, especially because I have had it now for 16, almost 17 years. So a little bit before I deep dive into this video, I am very lucky that I have friends and family and coworkers and clients, I'm a personal trainer, that do their best to fully understand, ask questions, and help out. But I know they don't fully get it because they don't have it. And there is a difference, because it is something that is so difficult to explain if you don't have it, to understand what it's like living with it every single day. Well, diabetes is manageable, and I've gotten a lot of positives out of it. There are still some very stressful, very scary, and very tough moments or even days that I and we as type 1 diabetics go through. I love you so much. If you have type 1 diabetes and you don't know or aren't close to somebody else who has it, it can be very lonely. Like I said, I try to explain it to the best of my ability, but if the person you're explaining it to doesn't also have it, they will never fully understand what it's like day to day, 24/7, to think about, go through, deal with, manage, be stressed out about everything, any word you can think of in that sense is the word I'm trying to use. And that's because it is an invisible illness, and it's not something, like if you break a bone, I break my arm, or I tear my ACL, or I get my wisdom teeth removed, people can fully empathize with that because most people have gone through something similar. They've broken a bone, or they've gotten injured, or they have had their wisdom teeth taken out, or they've had surgery. Like, a lot of people can relate to it because they've been through it. With type 1 diabetes, it's not something that somebody else has been through. I explain a feeling that I have when my blood sugar's high or low, and I can only relate it to something that somebody else has had, and it's still never exactly the same, if that makes sense. And even when people try to understand the responsibility, which again, I'm very lucky that I do have people in my life that try. They really do, and they're amazing. But they don't know what it's like to wake up 3 times in a night because of lows. They don't know what it's like to have low blood sugar and your sugar's just not going up no matter how much you eat. They don't understand what it's like to have your pump site ripped out in the middle of sleeping and your blood sugar goes super high, or you're out somewhere not close to home and it rips out by accident, and guess what? You forgot a site. You forgot a change. One of those days where it was just one of those things you couldn't think about, you didn't think about in that moment before leaving. And then you have to end whatever you're doing, go all the way home, or be super stressed because, oh, you're far and you don't have insulin now. People don't know what it's like to have to pull over on the side of the road because your blood sugar's low and you're not supposed to be driving, or it's high and you're exhausted falling asleep driving, or to stop exercising that day because your blood sugar's not stable, or to have to call out of work because you got 2 hours of sleep that night, and if you go to work it's not going to be like you got 2 hours of sleep because of your blood sugar, and not getting enough sleep impacts your blood sugar even more. People don't know what it's like to feel helpless when somebody else messes up your insulin prescription or your Dexcom or your pump or something that you need to stay alive, and you feel absolutely helpless because there's nothing you can do in that moment except call and call and call and hope and pray and plead that you get what you need for that day, that week, that month, especially when you're running out of set supplies that you need. Something that keeps me alive, not like it's birth control or Advil or a painkiller. It's literally life or death for somebody with type 1 diabetes if they don't get something that they need for that day. It's like minute by minute. It's not day by day. It's not week by week. It's minute by minute. If I don't have insulin for 2 hours, I get ketones. If I have ketones for too long, I go to the hospital. Like, it is, there are so many examples I can use and I can give you guys that, but I'm gonna do that for now because oh my god, speaking of, I'm going low right now. I just ate dinner. Here's a real life example of I just ate dinner and my Dexcom says I'm going low. I just ate dinner and carbs and I'm still going low. And I gave myself the correct amount of insulin I needed, the exact amount that I ate, the carb to eating ratio. So I'm gonna go take care of that for a minute. Well, that gave a nice segue into my next point, because diabetes is also exhausting and unpredictable. It's exhausting because when my blood sugar is out of range, it puts a toll on my body. High blood sugar makes me feel absolutely lethargic, sick, and just gross. When my blood sugar is high, it's running thicker throughout my body because there's sugar in my blood that hasn't been converted into energy with insulin, and so it runs thick like syrup. I know you can't understand what that feels like, but imagine just your blood running thicker through your veins and your heart and your entire body. Like, you just feel so exhausted. And if you have high blood sugar, too much high blood sugar over time increases the risk of nerve damage, vision loss, and kidney failure as you get older. Like I said earlier, if I have high blood sugar for too long and my insulin's not working, I can then get ketones, and then ketones, if I have those for too long without insulin, I would go into a coma and then I would die. And then low blood sugar makes me sweaty, shaky, blurry vision, headache, sometimes nauseous, anxious, stressed. My adrenaline kicks in. I can't see straight. Like, it's mental fog. Like, it's not fun. Like, if you've ever passed out or felt like you're about to pass out, that's how I feel. But like, you're just in that state of, I feel like I'm gonna pass out, but I'm not gonna pass out until, obviously, if you don't have sugar, you pass out, have a seizure, and if it still goes untreated, you will die because your brain needs sugar to survive. So like I said, it is a manageable disease, but that does not mean it is a predictable one. I could do everything right in a 24-hour period. Just like now, I was like, I gave myself the correct amount of carbs for dinner that I had. Did not overbolus. I literally had something that had the carbs on the package for dinner. Measured it, had that amount, and I still went low. What? Unpredictable. I didn't do anything crazy today. Didn't give myself insulin earlier. I wasn't super high and then dropped. Like, no. My blood sugar from when I woke up till now was actually in range. I think it maybe was 200 at one point because I had a snack before I walked today, and then I was fine. Didn't go low, didn't go too high, and now I'm low. It just sometimes doesn't make sense. Diabetes is terrifying, and I don't say that lightly because, as I just said, it is a life-threatening condition. There are so many, I guess not so many, but there's a decent amount of ways that I could literally just die. If I go low at night and I don't wake up, my Dexcom doesn't wake me up, or somebody else doesn't wake me up, and I don't get sugar, pass out, seizure, die. blood sugar is too high, I don't have insulin. I don't have insulin anywhere in range of me, don't have access to it for too long, I die. It's telling me I'm low. Yes, I know, I just had a snack, thank you. Without insulin, the body cannot survive. Without sugar and carbs, the body cannot survive. And insulin and the insulin to carb ratio that I have has to be accurate every single time, or else I go out of range and I'm not okay. Or even sometimes when I give myself the correct insulin, I am out of range and I'm not okay. Not treating low blood sugar, like I said, is extremely dangerous and fatal. Without carbohydrates for too long, as a type 1 diabetic, the brain will shut down. It's a delicate balance every second of every day to make sure that I'm alive, healthy, my blood sugar's in range, and I'm okay. Every second of every day. There's no vacation. I take a vacation and diabetes is still there. It doesn't go away, unfortunately. But even with all of this, diabetes has taught me a lot, and I know that I would not be the person I am today if I did not have it. Do I wish I didn't have it? Yeah, of course. But everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that, and I am mature, resilient, educated, healthy, knowledgeable, a better person because of it. Diabetes has taught me resiliency. I am strong as fuck because of it. Managing my diabetes means that I have to make hundreds. I think I need to start counting how many health-related decisions I make every day to see how much it is on a daily basis. Because I make hundreds of health-related decisions about food, insulin, activity, stress, sleep, water, supplies, site change, like literally everything every day, which has given me strong problem-solving skills and self-awareness. And I am very in tune with my body, and I'm very aware of what I'm eating, the order I eat things in, how many carbs are in things, what sugar-free or added sugar affects what the types do to my blood sugar. Like, I am very in tune with that, and I'm grateful for it. I have learned to be persistent through adversity. Like I said, there's no vacation or break from type 1 diabetes. Dealing with highs and lows, misunderstanding from others, burnout from the disease, because it is very real, but you can't be burnt out from it because you can't stop taking care of it, has taught me how to, it honestly also taught me how to be comfortable and adjust in the moment. I have a very proactive mindset, and I'm just kind of ready for anything because of it. And like I said, it's helped me be very in tune with my body. But my blood sugar can be different every day because of hormones, stress, illness, food, activity, sleep, water, my period, etc. So I've learned how to just kind of go with the flow and not expect anything to go the way, like to go as planned, because one, that's not how life works, and I really learned that through having type 1. Diabetes has also taught me so much about food, sleep, and exercise, and how they impact my body and my blood sugar. I have learned how to be healthy, what and how to eat in order to keep my blood sugar as in range as possible. How exercise has really helped me be less insulin resistant and more insulin sensitive, and it's been the biggest difference with my blood sugar control that I've seen. I've also realized that the quality and quantity of my sleep impacts how my blood sugar will be the next day. And it has, again, one of the biggest impacts on my diabetes. So food, sleep, and exercise. And obviously, like I was saying already, there's so much else that goes into it, but for me, those are the three biggest things: that tweaking food, not having added sugars that spike my blood sugar, having protein and fiber before carbs during a meal lessens my blood sugar spike, having protein with it if I have a sweet breakfast, like my mom will make pancakes or waffles or French toast or whatever sometimes, and if I have eggs first because it's a protein, my blood sugar doesn't spike with the pancakes or whatever the sweet breakfast is. And it used to always spike and stay super high for hours after eating. So that's really made a big difference. again, consistently exercising and not just cardio. I'm talking about weight training and cardio. Having a routine every single week has really helped with my blood sugar. And then getting enough sleep, 7 to 8 hours, I try to get every single night. Sometimes it doesn't happen and I really see a difference in my blood sugar. It will go super high, it'll drop, it'll look like this all day instead of like this. Seeing and feeling that difference because of my diabetes, I've also noticed just like my energy in general. When my blood sugar's in range, I have so much energy. And when I eat healthy and eat the food to lessen the blood sugar spike, I feel so energized. And I saw a video about this. It wasn't even about type 1 diabetics. I saw a video on Instagram and it was about having a sweet sugary breakfast in the morning causing blood sugar spikes in anybody, not just type 1 diabetes, which makes people feel lethargic, brain fogged, craving more sugar and more sweets, and just not present and not motivated. And I was like, well, if this works for regular people not having blood sugar spikes, why can't that work for me? So I tried it. I was like, all right, next time my mom makes pancakes, which is not like, she doesn't make them often, it's like maybe once a month, but I was like, next time she makes pancakes, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna eggs first. Did it? No blood sugar spike. It was perfect. Then I tried it. My mom made protein pancakes next time, and I was like, okay, let me try to not have eggs and see if having the protein in the pancake is helpful. It wasn't. My blood sugar spiked and stayed high for a few hours after that. I don't think it was as long as without the protein or as high as a regular pancake, but it definitely did. Having the eggs or whatever protein yogurt, whatever before is the best way to go about that. So I recommend that to anybody. If you know or have somebody that has type 1 and they love sweet breakfast, like, or even dessert, like if you have a high protein meal and then have a dessert, you're less likely for your blood sugar to spike beforehand. Or even just having, like I said, fiber or protein. Okay, wait, sorry, I'm getting way too into another whole topic. I'll do another video about like what I've learned eating and like how I eat to manage my blood sugar and not have blood sugar spikes, what foods I avoid, kind of things like that later. But for now, I'm gonna keep going on to this one. So the next word I wanted to talk about was education. Besides what I have learned, I also really love that I have been able to educate other people about it. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, please ask me the questions. Ask me the questions. I will answer anything and everything. I promise I will not judge you. I'm here to answer questions so that you can know and you can be educated. There's no right or wrong questions. Like if you want to ask me, can I have sugar? Ask me. The answer is yes, I can. And sometimes, like low blood sugar, I have to. But please ask me these, even if you think it's simple or dumb, as long as it's not rude. You know, like, oh, like I hate, like, it's like the ones where it's like, well, my grandma's cat had type 1 diabetes, so I understand. Like, no. Which I haven't heard that in a while, but that's a running joke in the diabetic community. But please ask me the questions. I would rather educate people about the disease than not. Than them just think it's, or you just not know, because God forbid there's somebody in public that has a low blood sugar episode and you have no idea what to do. Terrifying. There is a lot to know about it, and again, if you don't have somebody that's actively living, if you aren't or don't know somebody closely that's actively living with it, it's hard to get a grasp on what it's like day to day, because even online, like I could post a day in my life and obviously you're not with me that, you know, the whole 12 hours or whatever of my day and seeing it firsthand, whereas my friends and family and even my coworkers have now like really started to grasp an understanding of it because they see me go through it every day. And my friends are like, they're like, I'm so, like, I had no idea what it was, and I'm so grateful that I've met you and that I've learned about it, because now I know about it. And that's really helpful, especially, you know, like, for example, let me give you an example. One of my best friends, Mallory, she works in a cupcake shop currently, and she's had a few times she's told me about where somebody comes in and they're like frantic and they're like, I need whatever, I have low blood sugar, and she's like, oh my god, yes, like, and immediately knows what to give them. So helpful. And the same on the other end, like, I've gone places where they have no idea what it is, and they give me issues about bringing food into like a venue, like my emergency snacks, not just like, I'm not bringing like a whole pizza in, it's like my emergency snacks in my bag. or like going up to a bar if I'm low and I need juice. Like, I've had people that, frustrating, I've had the ones that are like, oh my god, here, like, don't even pay for it, please just drink it, like, I don't care, like, and it's one of the most, I don't even know, like, it's one of the most comforting feelings, having somebody that understands that it's an emergency. And like, I'm very thankful at my job. My assistant general manager where I work is, her brother had a best friend that had type 1, so she grew up with somebody who had it very closely. And when, very few and far between, but when things happen, when I don't get enough sleep and I have to be there at 5 a.m. and I couldn't go into a shift like 5 in the morning because I didn't sleep, I'm like, I can't. She was so understanding, so helpful, so kind, and like, it's moments like that this is why I want to talk about it. This is why I want people to understand it. This is why I want people to be educated about it, because it is so helpful as the person who has it, who sometimes feels so alone having it, that somebody who doesn't have it is that understanding and that kind and that caring. I'm getting emotional. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just, whew. Anyway, type 1 diabetes is tough, but so are the people living with it. We are strong as fuck. We deal with it every single day, and we are still positive, mature, incredible human beings. Let's keep raising awareness, break the stigma, and support each other one story at a time. I'm here for you. Any questions? If you need a friend who also has it, if you want to learn more for a friend who has it, I'm here. Help spread awareness, share this video, and help others understand a very real, raw, behind the scenes story about type 1 diabetes. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you again. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time.